Okay, so this was, I think, Gisu's today, in one ear and out the other. And sometimes when people learn things or hear language, it just goes in one ear and out the other. This phrase too. I told him, but it just went in one ear and out the other. And Gisu and we told a story that I was just watching TV, trying to learn a language. It's better than nothing. Nothing is a sin. But most of the language just went in one ear and out the other. This is the first slide because the reason I'm doing this is so that people have the opportunity to review or remember words or learn new things. Okay. Because we don't want it to just go in one ear and out the other. This, I think, what's his name? Jo Myung Sol? Sorry, man, I'm still getting your name. Jay Gill and those guys were talking, and I think this came up, that they studied this, one of them studied this in university. But I had this sentence: those engineers were studying fluid dynamics, and they discovered that when a bubble pops, underwater, I think, there are sparks, or so I've heard. Work for peanuts. Peanuts is work for a little bit of money, not much money at all. The Colgan air crash I mentioned today, that pilot and the first officer, the co-pilot, were talking about salaries, because I think she was making $17,000 a year, but they didn't pay attention, and I think ice built up on the wing. Right? That's peanuts to us, as that's not a lot of money. Guess who used that? This guy. By the way, funny story. My mom, again, I said my mom and dad, they like him. I don't. But he has another thing. He says, my father only gave me a very small loan. He's complaining about $1 million. Was that Sheebok? $1 million. So I say to my mom and dad, Mom, Dad, where's my $1 million? But again, to somebody like Warren Buffett or whatever, $1 million really is peanuts to somebody, right? What is your major? I told a story today that I was in an internet company outside of Madrid, and the Spanish lady asked, I have a question. What is major? Major in. Again, that's usually more for students. Better, I like, what did you study in university? What did you do for your undergraduate degree? Because this, maybe the person has you're assuming maybe the person has a graduate degree. All right, so what do they do for their haksa? Remember, graduate degree pronunciation, to graduate is the verb. I graduated many years ago. Right? He has or she has a graduate degree. Same thing. Throw someone under the bus. Gyungtek, I think, talked about this. All right, abandon somebody, throw them away. You're just going to throw your friend under the bus. You could help your friend, but you don't. Right? It just means abandon. There's too many people on the bus. Got to throw somebody out. This happens in politics all the time. Other expressions we had, like water off a duck's back. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think this is only like a 3 or 4. But any negativity, any problems, just let it roll off you. Like water off a duck's back. I put it into Google, and I didn't get much in Korean, but I put it into Naver, and this came up, right? So maybe, it means you could use it this way in like a business context. Okay, or shake it off, man. Just let it go. Shake it off, all right? This is Taylor Swift. She has this song, Shake It Off. By the way, any of you guys dressed like this, Gyungtek? All right, any of you guys, Jay Gill, do you wear clothes like this? Please let me know tomorrow. And in these, I'll mention other people or give shout outs. But the main phrase was throw someone in the deep end. Just, how did you learn to swim? Well, my father just picked me up and threw me in the water. I learned to swim that way. This word came up, financial derivatives. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, this word is like a 1 or 2. However, after the financial crisis, this word became much more common, right? After the 2008 financial crisis. Because one of the things that played a role were financial derivatives. Now, I think if you say financial derivatives to Americans, to adults, probably not high school students, but adults, they will say, "Oh, I should understand those, but they're too complicated." If you watch the movie The Big Short with Brad Pitt and Christian Bale and Steve Carell, you'll hear that word quite a few times. And words in their context make it easier to remember. All right. This one, to learn by trial and error, to go ahead by trial and error. Please, when you're speaking with me or whatever, make mistakes. It's okay. This one came up too, a logical fallacy. I'll say this one again. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, this word's probably about a 6 or 7 because everybody talks about politics, or high school students know about it. Interrupt versus interject. Some of the guys explained this today. Interrupt is a little bit stronger. Interject maybe a little bit more polite, or for professors, right? Excuse me, if I could just interject there for a moment. Now I put this there in green because sometimes there is a little bit more polite, okay? Or it makes the sentence sound a little bit more polite. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but if I could just ask a quick question, and you put this there on the end. If I could just ask a quick question there, that'd be nice. If I may just interject there for a minute. I don't remember exactly, but the gist of it was blah blah blah. Because during the break we talk, so I always ask you to kind of summarize. But if you can't remember everything, the exact details, that's okay. The gist, the main point. You could also say the crux. All these words. Nub, I don't really say this. Maybe that'd be super informal, like a 1. The crux of the matter, the main problem, the main point. All right. Again, context. Context is very important. We don't want to take something out of context. Okay. Maybe you will only hear one small part of a conversation, but we don't hear the whole conversation. Gotta be careful there because we can take things out of context. We need to see things in their proper context. Here's an example. This guy was in the Air China 981. That was 10, 11 years ago. It's a long time ago. So his English has probably improved, I'm hoping. Let's look him up. But if we can remember that'd be good.